Hi everybody, I'm Arushi Basen. I'm the Director of Solution Architecture at Fivetran.
Hey folks, Kelly Coleffel here. I'm Head of Partner Sales Engineering and here to talk to you today about analytics use cases and data outcomes in financial services. And Arushi, it's great to be here with you today. Financial services over the last, I don't know, maybe 8 to 10 years, it's really shifted. It seems like today, or let's go back then, you had these almost fit for purpose organizations. I was a bank, or maybe I was an insurance company, or maybe I was a payment processor, to give 3 examples. Today, it seems like there's a lot of interaction, a lot of mixing between those different disciplines, and in some cases there are companies that do all 3, financial services organizations that do all 3. You've got everything from very established legacy organizations down to startups, and I mean, all of those present their own set of challenges, but I mean, what are you seeing out there? How do you see financial services today in terms of the company ranges and the different types of challenges that they have?
Absolutely. The financial services landscape has changed in the last decade or so. And thanks to technology, thanks to modern technologies that run on cloud, that don't need large data centers or infrastructure setups anymore. You see a lot of technology companies that have moved over to the financial services space. And then anyone who's selling a product eventually is capturing financial data. So it's not just financial services organizations that are running into use cases around managing their customers, experience of customers, but also other companies that have a lot of financial data that want to run analytics on top of that data and derive insights out of it.
Yeah, it's a great point. I mean, regardless of the industry vertical that I'm in, I'm dealing with financial data.
Right.
I have to be, right? Yeah. Let me ask you this. What would you say are the top 2, 3, maybe 4 use cases that you see out there that are repeating themes with financial services, either organizations or specialty groups that are dealing with financial services or financial analytics data?
Yeah, when I talk to customers, a lot of them talk about their customer data.
Okay.
At the end of the day, when you capture customer data, it is sensitive information, and you want to protect that information. You want to protect it from harmful access. You want to make sure that no one's stealing that information. So I think customer data, PII data especially, is top of mind. Given the regulations that are in place, that every FinServer or any company that captures customer data has to follow. So that's always top of mind. That's the first use case that I hear, no matter which FinServ customer I'm talking to.
Yeah, and I think we're all providing that data in a variety of ways today, and you make a tremendous point. I mean, I want to know that when I provide that data, and I execute a transaction or I give something to a financial services company or somebody that's processing payments, it stays there. It's not going any further than it needs to facilitate that transaction or that customer experience, as you said, which I'm looking for.
Absolutely. I think the second one that we hear a lot is threat detection, fraud detection, threat detection, and then mitigating that risk. So a lot of companies want to start looking at these transactions and they want to identify patterns in that large amounts of data. And so that's the other use case that we're hearing a lot these days.
Yeah, and there's, when I think about threat detection, you have, real-time surveillance, but I also need to be identifying trends around threat detection that happen over maybe a month or a year or a day or, longer time periods too.
Absolutely, and that's the proactive mindset that someone who is higher up on the data maturity curve is always thinking about. They want to be more proactive, customers want to be more proactive rather than reactive to a situation. So identifying those patterns is top of mind, and what that needs is analysis of large amounts of data, running data science models, running analytics or AI models on all of your transactional history data, and then identifying what those patterns are that then you can apply to your real-time transactions and give alerts to customers, and hence probably improve customer experience in that journey.
Yeah, they all intersect. So you've talked to us about customer experience. I want a good experience as when I'm executing a payment, or I'm a financial services customer, whether it be insurance services, banking, whatever that discipline may be, definitely, as a consumer, please protect me from fraud. And then all of this kind of wraps up as an organization into something else you talked about use case wise, which is overall financial analytics, which can really apply to almost any industry. So all of those, with that as the backdrop,
yeah.
How do I get there? What are some of the key things that I can do, especially with Fivetran, to help me execute on those use cases, those data outcomes that I'm driving towards?
Yeah. So just the way we've talked about Fivetran before, it's an automated data pipeline platform that lets you connect to over 200 plus sources. But in that journey, as you connect your sources and as you're thinking about customer data, there are some things that I want to highlight about our platform that really help you accomplish that privacy that you're looking for when you're dealing with customers' sensitive data. From a security standpoint, we offer encryption. Anytime the data is at rest or in transit in our platform, it is encrypted. I think the other thing that we also offer is private networking and VPN tunneling. So when you want to create connections to your sources and destinations, you really want to think about how am I connecting to that? How am I connecting to that source or destination? Because that drives whether your data is going to be exposed to traffic or not. With private link, you don't expose your data to traffic. You keep it within your network. And so that also offers that added layer of security when we're thinking about sensitive data. The third thing that we can talk about is RBAC. Who gets access to this data? Who is seeing this data? And who is controlling that data? And again, within the platform, you can control who has access to that data. And then finally, we want to talk about column blocking and hashing. When you have sensitive data at source, not everything needs to make it to your destination. What Fivetran as a platform offers is you can block certain columns, or you can apply our hash function so that when the data arrives at the destination, it doesn't look the way it was at source. And that gives you that added layer of protection, especially for that PII data.
Yeah, and what I like about that too, Arushi, is I can still use, even if I'm hashing a column or columns, I can still use that data in the context of my downstream analytics workflow. I can still do joins and those types of things.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You can build your complete PI solution or architecture, or your complete end-to-end pipelines using some of these features and still get the outcome that you're looking for.
Yeah. So let's dig into a couple of these a little bit more. So you talked about private networking. So as a Fivetran customer, I have a lot of options. Let's just talk about databases, for instance. I've got a lot of options in terms of how I want to connect. Private networking, using that approach, that's one of many. This sounds like it gives me a lot of optionality to, you said, run everything in the context of my own cloud tenant.
Yep. You can use AWS's private link or Snowflake's private link as an option. That gives you that level of security. And so it's not just Fivetran providing that layer of security, but it's also that cloud vendor that you're working with that adds that extra layer of security around your data.
Yes, and then within the context of Azure, I'm able to do the same thing with Azure Private Link and also with Databricks.
Absolutely.
Yeah, very cool. Okay, so I get that one. Encryption, this is a big one. I heard what you said, that whether data is at rest or in motion in the context of a Fivetran pipeline or data movement scenario, Fivetran's going to encrypt that 100% of the time.
So many great security and governance options out there in the platform. Kelly, can you explain a little bit more about encryption?
Yeah, I feel like we do a fantastic job of that. It's such a critical piece, not only for financial services organizations, but any industry. So if you think about, and you mentioned these a while ago, data at rest, data in motion, I've got to handle both of those. And if I think about first, data in motion, we are a data pipeline, a data movement pipeline. I'm going to use transport layer security, TLS 1, 1.2 or higher, to ensure that any data that is moving source to destination or anywhere in between is fully encrypted. So That's really critical to me as again, any industry, but especially in the financial services industry. So that covers data in motion. Data at rest, we're not going to hold on to data very long. Your Snowflake, Databricks, Synapse, Redshift, BigQuery, that's really where your data is going to reside in that cloud destination. But if we have it ephemerally for a short period of time, we're going to encrypt that with AES 256. So whether that data is in motion, TLS encryption, or even at rest for a very short period of time where we're doing final error checking and making sure that we got you 100% verified data source to destination, you're covered on the encryption side, Arushi.
That's great. So in addition to that, we have so many certifications like HIPAA that anyone can go on our website and find that information. So we really do cover all facets of security and governance in terms of protecting that sensitive data when we're building on Fivetran.
Absolutely. Architecturally, can you bring this together for us, Arushi? How does this fit in architecturally, I don't know, maybe in the context of an Azure environment?
Absolutely. Like we've talked about before, architecturally, our pipelines, our platform is simple. We offer a lot of connectors that you can hook up to. You can essentially extract, ingest that data into your destination. So that flow does not change. That standard flow exists even in the context of FinServ, in the context of Azure. But let's look at what are some of the applications and databases that a financial services organization uses. Similar to our other conversations, SQL Server. Workday actually gets used a lot. Dynamics 365, another one of our popular sources. And then on the sales side, Salesforce. Actually, a lot of our customers use Zendesk to track, customer experience, and we talked about that use case particularly as well. And then marketing. With the advent of Pinterest, TikTok, Google Ads, all of that information, all of that marketing information is sitting in some of these sources right here. So what you can do is you can connect all of these sources using our platform and start ingesting that data at the pace that you want. Okay. And then what you can use on the Azure side is Databricks. One of the things that Databricks does really, really well is they have taken the concept of a data lake and a data warehouse and built data lake houses. They're applying asset properties, DML support in that solution. And with Fivetran, managing schemas really frees up a customer's time to not constantly be monitoring API changes or schema changes at source. So when you think about quality and you think about the data processing power of Fivetran with something like Databricks, you really are hitting all of those high architecture points. You're really taking those complex architecture roadblocks and challenges that organizations have faced in the past and solving it and simplifying it so that then you can focus on, like we said, customer experience, fraud detection and mitigation, and then also forecasting and predicting, what your customers are going to need, personalization, running your AI and ML models.
Yeah. Well, the common theme to me, based on everything that you're saying, I've got all these sources on, regardless of the Databricks or Azure Synapse workload that I'm delivering over here, I need high quality, usable, trusted, curated data. And it sounds like that's what Fivetran's delivering, regardless of the workload, regardless of the use case.
Absolutely. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed our discussion. I'm Arushi.
I'm Kelly. Keep an eye out for more great content.